Hello, everybody, and welcome to your Week 12 preview show. He's James the Twerking Moynihan. I'm Ross Berkey. That's good, Jim. Thanks.
Thank you.
Looking back on Week 11, we had a couple of big games with teams with good records. We had Brendan facing off against Jed. Brendan losing a close one there. And then Albert defeating you, Jimbo, pretty handily.
Yeah, last week the rich got richer, so to speak, as all the top teams, Jed, Rag, Andy, and Al, all put up wins. Andy picking up a victory despite only scoring 76 points.
Yep.
Very lucky win there, but that's what you need in this league to get to the championship.
Indeed. And then we also had Chooch getting snootered against Snoots.
Another one of those. That's been happening a little bit more frequently lately. Snoot's now in the mix here. He's only a game out of third place. So Snoots is trying to make a run here towards the end of the season.
Indeed. All right, let's look ahead at Week 12. The first matchup I have here, Grimsley Bears versus who the fuck is Geno Smith. They both lost last week. Chuck's team is actually looking pretty decent. I think he's put together a pretty good team this year, and although he's 4-7, I think he'll win this one against the Grimsley Bears. Chooch, he has to start folks like DeAndre Hopkins and Heath Miller, but I do think the trade that he did with you helped round out his team. Grim is having to start Mike Glennon as his quarterback, and he's putting Bobby Rainey there in the flex. But I think Chuck has more than enough to beat Grim this week. What do you think?
Yeah, I think, Chuck's trade with me is really representative of what I think a lot of teams in this league have not taken advantage of, and that's the 2 or 3 for 1 deal.
Yeah.
If you can get a couple of players that are startable, that really helps you out down the stretch. Jennings has been huge for Chuck. He's still able to plug in a couple other guys there. I think Glennon coming in this week, I personally wouldn't love to start somebody who looks just like Mal Webb, but over Matt Ryan at this point, I think you got to do what you got to do. I love Jennings this week against Tennessee. Tennessee's been terrible against the run, and Megatron against Tampa Bay. I got to go with Chuck in this one.
All right, hopefully Mal Webb isn't watching this broadcast.
Seriously? You don't think he is?
Maybe he is. All right, next up we got Who Laced My Weed, still hasn't updated his team name, against A-Town Rat Tails. BMAC's team is terrible. I'm afraid to say that he's doing better than I am, but I hope that changes this week. James Starks has averaged less than 1 point per game in the last 2 games. He's starting Marquise Colston as his best receiver, and Dwayne Bowe, who smokes too much weed, fitting that he's on BMAC's team. So, I'm gonna go with you in this one, Jimbo. I think you beat him pretty handily.
Well, I like my team better than I like BMAC's. Welker actually practiced today, so it looks like he's going to play from his injury. But I do have AJ Green and Russell Wilson both on a bye, so I'm starting Trent Richardson and Big Ben. Mac actually has some fucking phenomenal matchups this week. He's got Tate going against Jacksonville, Gronk going against Denver, and then Colston in Atlanta tonight. And then Romo faces against the Giants, who he always seems to light up. So he's got a lot of good matches. If Welker wasn't playing, I'd say Mac has it, but I think Welker's gonna at least score 1 touchdown in New England. He's got to do it coming back.
All right. Next up, we got the Thompson Takeover versus the Pocono Pawners. Pocono Pawners on a 3-game winning streak. They're looking formidable. Jed's got to start Chris Ogbanaya in his RB2 spot. I was looking at this. He's been paid $83 in our league, and he's also been involved in a trade. So he's played a pretty pivotal role this year, even though he sucks ass.
Ogbanaya, by the way, John traded for him, and then the week after that, he cut him. And now he's starting on...
That also could have been, like, the worst trade of all time. I think... Yeah. Hold on, I have it right here. It's Nate Washington for Vincent Brown and Chris Ogbanaya. All three...
There's that 2 for 1 I was talking about.
That's ridiculous. But anyways, I think Jed wins this one. JK's got to start Josh McCown again as a starting quarterback. JK also going away from the 3 running back set this week.
Yeah.
For I think the first time all year. But I don't think it makes a difference. I still think Jed wins this one.
Yeah, Jed right now is projected to score 155 points and things. I actually expect big points from his wide receivers. JK going again against Darren Sproles in favor of Streeter. Ray Rice faces a Jets defense that hasn't given up anything to running backs, so I like Jed in this one as well.
Jed's looking like the best team, the early favorite right now, or I guess mid-year favorite.
Putting up big points.
All right, next up we got WrestleMania versus the Halloween Heads. As we all know, the Halloween Heads on a 6-game losing streak, really struggling. WrestleMania is putting up a lot of points as usual, and he's also won 3 games straight. He's got the 3 running back set in here. RG3 is coming back a little bit, and obviously Jed having to start the likes of Daniel Thomas, Rashard Matthews. Cecil Shorts, whatever his name is. Also,
yeah.
I think Snoots takes this one pretty easily.
Yeah, this is a nice situation for Snoots to get a bye late in the season, so that's really good. No defense, it looks like, for Snoots right now, but I don't think he'll need it. This is the second time it looks like he's going to go without a defense this season. John has some phenomenal matchups from his roster standpoint, but the problem is he has terrible fucking players. I think Frank Gore absolutely kills the Redskins. Snoots wins this. No need to talk about it.
Yeah, no need. All right, this next one's a good one, though. Ducktown Quackers versus Masturbation. They may be watching this game together at a bar in New York City somewhere, but I think Ducktown Quackers is a better team, but you know what? I'm going to go with Masturbation in this one. When I look at Masturbation's team, Colin Kaepernick, Shane Vereen, Pierre Garcon, and Michael Floyd, they all look very familiar because they were all drafted by me. So, Masturbation, I'm going to start rooting for Masturbation because his team looks a lot like mine did at the beginning of the year. So, I'm going to have.
And you're a big fan of Masturbation, so that's good.
That's right.
I think it's a very interesting matchup here. I think this one's really close. This is my close pick of the week.
Yeah.
Rivers in Kansas City is a very tough matchup. I love Josh Gordon going into Pittsburgh. The Steelers have actually, this is an interesting stat, they've given up 20 catches and over 500 yards and 5 touchdowns combined in 2 of the last 3 weeks. In between 2 weeks ago, they had a tough matchup, but big points over the last couple of weeks. Kaepernick going into Washington and Mike Floyd with nearly 200 yards last week. So very interesting. We got a couple of big matchups. I'm going with the Rag.
All right. Even with LaShawn McCoy on the bye, huh?
Even with McCoy on the bye, I think it's very close. I think Rag picks it up, and this is a big one for Rag to get away with a win with McCoy on the bench.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we got Bad Blue Boys versus Kindergarten Cop. This is probably the matchup of the week, Jimbo, to go back to how we used to do.
Oh, absolutely.
Both teams 8-3 atop the Happy Endings division. They're tied. I don't know who I'd rather not win our league. Actually, both teams. Well, Andy is having to start Jared Cooks, Antonio Holmes, guys like that. But then Al is starting Cam Newton, Brandon LaFell, and Greg Olsen against Miami defense, who's actually been pretty good against quarterbacks. So I think this is going to be a close one. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. Andy put up 75 points or something last week and won. So because I don't want
maybe the luck of the Irish is with Andy.
That's true. But because I don't want either one of these teams to win, I'm going to predict a tie.
If any 2 teams are going to do it, I think it would be these 2. One very interesting fact about Al's starting lineup is that every single one of his starters is playing away this week. They're all away from home.
Oh my God.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
That is very strange.
Andy's 3 wide receivers and tight end had a total of 8 catches between all 4 of the positions last week. So that's pretty fucking terrible. But Drew Brees in Atlanta, I think, is going to be too much. I like Miami. I think they hold off the Cam Newton Panthers and the rest of Al's team. I'm going to go with Andy in what I would consider an upset.
I can't believe Andy's receivers, Randall, Washington, and Cynthia.
It's fucking terrible.
I mean, I know Randall's been catching touchdowns, but still. All right, and then let's see. We got the last matchup. my game, the Friendly Machines versus the Fighting Frog Swamps. I think my team's starting to come together a little bit, but the wins aren't coming my way. These two teams combined for a 7-game losing streak. Obviously, Brendan's lost 3 straight. I've lost 4 straight. I think Tom Brady has a good game. I think Amendola, Roddy White will be fine. So I'm gonna take myself. It's a subplot in this game is to see how Amendola does versus Andre Brown because they were just traded for each other last week.
Yeah,
but
that is a nice subplot.
Very nice, very nice. We're all going to be watching it very closely. I still think I'm going to go with myself in this one, though.
Yeah, Ross, you won in week 1, so you now have lost 9 of 10 games.
Wow.
And the only win that you had, you scored 62 points.
That's pretty bad.
So that's pretty interesting. But I actually like Brady going into Denver and Lacey in Minnesota, so I think that could be enough. I think it could be enough if Jimmy Graham has another slow night. So if that happens, I think you win. My prediction is that he will not have a slow night. I predict Brendan will win this week and continue your skid. But
yeah, the thing is, Jimmy Graham and Des Bryant have both scored 7 or 8 points in their last 2 games. I think one of them is due for a breakout this week.
Somebody's going to break out. Yeah.
So we'll see. But
you need big things from Lacey and Brady.
Exactly. I'm hoping for it.
Absolutely.
Well, there you have it. That's the Week 12 preview, everybody. Anything else you got, Jimbo?
No, I think that sounds pretty good to me. If anybody has any bullshit that they want to say, say it to my face. Say it to my face.
Coming down the stretch. Good luck, everybody.
Grant Richardson. Choo-choo!